Yabba Dabba Doo! Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Get ready to travel back in time, way back to the town of Bedrock, a place where dinosaurs are pets and cars run on foot power. That's right, today we're rediving into the Stone Age with one of the most iconic animated families in history, the Flintstones. This show wasn't just a cartoon. It was a primetime phenomenon that captured the hearts of millions. It masterfully blended modern suburban life with a prehistoric twist, giving us characters and moments that are still hilarious today. From Fred's get-rich-quick schemes to Barney's loyal, goofy nature, there's so much to love. So, in this first part of our series, we're going to look at some of the absolute best, most laugh-out-loud moments that made the Flintstones a timeless classic. Grab your Brontosaurus burger, settle in, and let's get rolling. First up, how can we talk about the Flintstones without mentioning Fred's legendary temper? His booming Yabba Dabba Doo is iconic, but it's his spectacular, overthought meltdowns that are pure comedy gold. Remember the episode where Fred tries to build a new pool in the backyard? What starts as a simple project quickly spirals into a full-blown disaster. He's battling stubborn rocks, misreading blueprints which are just giant stone tablets. By the way, getting increasingly frustrated with Barney's well-meaning but clumsy help. The physical comedy here is just brilliant. Fred gets tangled in ropes, falls into holes, and has a whole series of mishaps with his primitive construction equipment. It's a perfect example of how the show took a relatable, everyday frustration like a DIY project gone wrong and turned it into a side-splitting spectacle. Fred's explosive anger, followed by his inevitable, sheepish apology to Wilma, is a cycle we see again and again. And honestly, it never gets old. Now, let's talk about the heart of the show. The friendship between Fred Flintstone and Barney Root. These two are the original animated best buds, and their dynamic is the source of so much of the show's humor and warmth. One of the best examples of their bond is in the bowling episodes. Fred takes his bowling incredibly seriously. For him, it's not just a game. It's an art form. He has this absurdly delicate, almost ballet-like approach to his throw, which is hilarious in itself. Barney, on the other hand, is just happy to be there, often messing up Fred's concentration with a clumsy move or a silly comment. Yet, despite Fred's constant frustration with Barney, you can always feel the genuine affection between them. They're members of the Loyal Order of Water Buffaloes. They work together at the quarry, and they're always getting into some kind of trouble together. Their friendship feels real, a prehistoric bromance that set the standard for sitcom friendships for decades to come. Hey, 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 as Barney would say. Of course, Fred and Barney wouldn't get very far without their smarter, more level-headed wives, Wilma and Betty. Let's be honest, Wilma Flintstone and Betty Rubel are the real brains of the operation. They often have to clean up the messes their husbands create. A classic moment that showcases their wit is when Fred and Barney try to trick them into thinking they re-sick so they can sneak off to a Water Buffalo Lodge meeting. They put on this whole dramatic performance of coughing and groaning, but Wilma and Betty are immediately suspicious. They play along for a while, pampering them with terrible-tasting medicine and keeping them stuck in bed, all while secretly knowing what's going on. The moment the husbands finally sneak out, Wilma and Betty are right there, waiting for them at the lodge, having outsmarted them completely. It's these moments that show Wilma and Betty as more than just housewives. They're clever, resourceful, and totally in control, proving that even in the Stone Age, it was the women who truly ran the world. Their knowing glances to each other when their husbands are up to no good are just priceless. Another fantastic element of the Flintstones is the creative and hilarious way they incorporated modern technology into a prehistoric setting. The animal-powered gadgets are pure genius. Who could forget the woolly mammoth vacuum cleaner that sucks up dirt with its trunk? Or the bird that serves as a record player, using its beak as the needle. There's the pelican garbage disposal under the sink and the dinosaur lawnmower that chomps the grass. One of the most memorable is the octopus dishwasher, who expertly washes all the stone plates with its 8 tentacles. These gags were more than just clever sight gags. They were a running commentary on the conveniences of modern life. By showing these familiar appliances in such a primitive form, the show made our everyday world seem a little more absurd and a lot more fun. It's this incredible attention to detail and creative world building that made Bedrock feel like a real, living place you'd actually want to visit. You just had to admire the sheer imagination of the creators. And let's not forget the pets. Dino? The dinosaur dog is an essential part of the Flintstone family. Dino's boundless energy and overwhelming affection for Fred are a constant source of comedy. The classic scene is when Fred comes home from a long day at the quarry. He opens the door, shouting Wilma, "I'm home!" And before he can take another step, he's flattened by Dino, who jumps on him and licks him into submission. Fred has struggled to fend off the overly enthusiastic Dino is a running gag that perfectly captures the chaotic joy of being a pet owner. And then there's Hoppy, the Rubles, pet hopperoo, a kangaroo Nassau hybrid. Hoppy's powerful legs and built-in pouch come in handy in all sorts of weird and wonderful ways, often saving Barney from whatever predicament Fred has gotten him into. These pets weren't just background characters. They had distinct personalities and contributed so much to the show's charm and humor. They were truly part of the family. A recurring theme that always delivers laughs is Fred's constant and consistently failing get-rich-quick schemes. Fred is always convinced that he's just one brilliant idea away from becoming a millionaire. Whether it's inventing a new kind of soft drink, trying to become a famous movie star, or investing in some harebrained business venture pitched by a shady character, his plans are always doomed to fail spectacularly. A perfect example is when he tries to become a pop singer, hi-fi, with Barney as his manager. He gets a taste of fame, but his ego inflates to a ridiculous size, and he starts treating everyone, especially Barney, terribly. Of course, it all comes crashing down in a humiliating and hilarious fashion, and Fred learns a valuable lesson about friendship and humility. At least until his next big idea, these episodes are a classic sitcom formula, but the Flintstones did it with such unique flair. It's Fred's unshakable and completely misplaced confidence that makes these stories so endlessly entertaining. You know it's going to end in disaster, but the journey there is always a riot. That's all the time we have for part 1, folks. We've barely scratched the surface of all the amazing moments from this legendary show. From Fred's temper to the brilliant animal gadgets, the Flintstones created a world that was both hilariously primitive and wonderfully familiar. It is a true testament to the power of great characters and clever writing that these Stone Age stories are still so funny and beloved today. What are some of your favorite Flintstones moments? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear them! And don't forget to tune in for part 2, where we'll be covering even more classic clips, including the arrival of Pebbles and Bam Bam. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this trip back to Bedrock, please give this video a big thumbs up. And make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Until then, have a Yabba Dabba Doo time! Hey everyone! And welcome back to our Bedrock Bonanza! If you thought part 1 was a blast from the past, just wait until you see what we've dug up for! Part 2 of the best of the Flintstones. We're diving even deeper into the hilarious, heartwarming, and downright prehistoric moments that made this show an absolute legend. So, grab your Brontosaurus ribs, settle into your favorite stone armchair, and let's get ready to roll. Last time, we touched on some iconic moments, but today, we're really getting into the heart of what made Bedrock so special. Let's start with one of the most relatable themes: the eternal struggle between Fred Flintstone and his boss, Mr. Slate. Who can forget Fred's constant schemes to get a day off or a raise? There was the time he faked an illness. The Dinopox, only to have Mr. Slate show up at his house with a get-well-soon boulder. The comedic timing was pure genius. Fred's over-the-top reactions, combined with Mr. Slate's perpetually unimpressed demeanor, created a workplace comedy dynamic that was decades ahead of its time. It wasn't just about a lazy employee. It was a clever commentary on the everyday grind, something we can all still laugh about today. And speaking of schemes, we can't possibly continue without talking about Fred and Barney's Lodge, the Loyal Order of Water Buffaloes. Yabba Dabba Doo, Adashti, Abibi, Adashti, Abibi, Adashti. We're the Loyal Order of Water Buffaloes. This was their sacred escape. Their man cave before man caves were even a thing. The elaborate secret handshakes, the silly hats, and the grand poobah leaderate was all pure, unadulterated fun. These scenes gave us a hilarious look into Fred and Barney's friendship. They were partners in crime, whether they were trying to sneak out to a lodge meeting or using a lodge excuse to cover up some other misadventure. Remember the episode where they had to pass a series of ridiculous tests to maintain their membership? It perfectly captured that sense of belonging and camaraderie, even if it was all wrapped up in utter silliness. Now, let's shift gears from the boys' club to the heart of the home. Wilma and Betty. These two were far more than just stereotypical housewives. They were the glue that held their families and, often, the entire show together. Wilma was the voice of reason, the sharp, intelligent counterpart to Fred's impulsive nature. She was constantly one step ahead of him, unraveling his schemes with a sigh and a shake of her head. And Betty, with her infectious giggle, was the ever-loyal best friend, always there to support Wilma, whether they were shopping at the Bedrock Mall or dealing with their husband's latest mess. An unforgettable episode is when they decided to get jobs to prove a point to Fred and Barney. They ended up becoming wildly successful, turning the tables completely. It showed their strength, their wit, and their unbreakable bond. They were true partners in every sense of the word. Of course, the family dynamic truly changed with the arrival of the next generation. First came Pebbles, Fred and Wilma's adorable daughter. The episode, The Blessed Event, was a landmark in television history. A cartoon character having a baby was a huge deal. The whole of Bedrock was buzzing, and Fred's frantic, over-the-top panic as an expectant father was comedy gold. From that moment on, Pebbles softened Fred's rough edges. We saw a new, more tender side to him. The scenes of him trying to teach her to say, "da-da," only for her first word to be Yabba Dabba,
are just priceless.
It added a whole new layer of heart to the show. And you can't talk about Pebbles without mentioning her best friend and future husband, Bam Bam Rubble, when the Rubles found Bam Bam on their doorstep. It was one of the most touching moments in the series. This little boy with superhuman strength brought so much joy and chaos into their lives. Barney, who always wanted to be a father, was instantly smitten. The contrast between Bam Bam's incredible strength casually lifting the family car or the entire house and his innocent baby nature was a constant source of laughter. The playdates between Pebbles and Bam Bam were always an adventure. Their friendship showed that family isn't just about blood. It's about the love you share. The Rubles adopting Bam Bam was a progressive and heartwarming storyline that still resonates today. Let's not forget the incredible array of prehistoric technology. This was the bedrock of the show's genius. The animal appliances were more than just a running gag. They were a core part of the world building. The woolly mammoth vacuum cleaner that would sneeze dust everywhere. The bird that served as a record player, its beak acting as the needle, or the lobster lawnmower Reach One, was a marvel of creative design. And they had personality. Often, the appliance would break the fourth wall, offering a sarcastic look to the audience as if to say, "Can you believe this?" It was this clever, self-aware humor that made the Flintstones so brilliant. It wasn't just a show set in the Stone Age. It was a show that used the Stone Age to parody and celebrate the modern world of the 1960s. And what about the celebrity guest stars? The Flintstones was famous for its prehistoric parodies of famous people. Who could forget Anne Margrock, the sizzling singer who came to Bedrock and caused a stir? Or Stoney Curtis, the suave movie star? These appearances were a treat for the adult viewers, adding another layer of sophisticated humor. It made Bedrock feel like a real, vibrant place. A Stone Age Hollywood. The writers did an amazing job of capturing the essence of these celebrities and translating them into the world of the Flintstones, complete with clever, pun-filled names and caricatured designs. It was a pop culture crossover event every time one of them appeared on screen. Finally, let's talk about the show's enduring legacy. The Flintstones wasn't just a kids' cartoon. It was the first ever animated primetime sitcom, paving the way for shows like The Simpsons, Family Guy, and countless others. It proved that animation could tell stories that appealed to the entire family, with jokes for the kids and clever satire for the adults. The themes of family, friendship, and navigating the ups and downs of everyday life are timeless. Fred and Barney's squabbles feel just as real today as they did 60 years ago. Wilma and Betty's solidarity is just as inspiring. The show had a heart, a genuine warmth that emanated from the screen. From Fred's iconic Yabba Dabba Doo to the clever animal gadgets and the surprisingly deep emotional moments, the Flintstones cemented its place in television history. It was a show that was both brilliantly simple and incredibly smart. It invited us into a world that was fantastically different from our own, yet felt completely familiar. The characters were more than just drawings. They felt like family. And that's a wrap on our tour of the best of the Flintstones. Of course, we've only scratched the surface of all the amazing moments this show gave us. What are some of your favorite episodes or gags? Let me know down in the comments side. Love to read them. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, please give this video a big thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into cartoon classics. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Hello, fellow cartoon lovers, and welcome back to our trip down memory lane in the town of Bedrock. This is part 3 of our series, celebrating the absolute best of the Flintstones. And if you thought the first 2 parts were a stone-cold classic, just wait until you see what we've dug up for you today. So grab your Bronto crane and let's get rolling. We're kicking things off with one of the most relatable themes in the entire series, Fred's constant, hilarious battle with his boss, Mr. Slate. Remember the episode where Fred gets a promotion, but it comes with so much stress he can barely handle it? The way he tries to impress Slate, only for it to backfire in the most spectacular ways, is pure comedy gold. It perfectly captures that feeling of trying to climb the corporate ladder, even if that ladder is made of dinosaur bones. The dynamic between the blustering Fred and the perpetually unimpressed Mr. Slate is a masterclass in sitcom writing. And speaking of relationships, we can't forget the incredible bond between the Flintstones and they are the definition of neighbors who became family. Let's revisit that classic episode where Fred and Barney buy a new Stoneway piano together. Of course! They immediately start arguing over whose house it should be in. The escalating feud, which pulls in Wilma and Betty, is both hilarious and heartwarming because, in the end, no matter how big their disagreements get, they always find their way back to each other. Their friendship is the bedrock of the show, proving that even in the Stone Age, good friends are what truly matter. Now, let's talk about the incredible gadgets. The Flintstones was famous for its clever, prehistoric versions of modern technology. Who could forget the rock quarter? A bird with a beak that chiseled messages into stone tablets? Or the garbage disposal, which was just a hungry pig-like creature under the sink? My personal favorite has to be the lawnmower, a clam with sharp teeth that nibbled the grass perfectly. The creativity was off the charts, and it added such a unique and charming layer to the world of Bedrock. It's a testament to the animator's genius that these gags are still just as funny today. Let's shift gears to another iconic character who always stole the show, the Great Gazoo. When this little green alien crash-landed in Bedrock, the show took a wonderfully weird turn. Gazoo, with his superior intellect and magical powers, was only visible to Fred and Barney, leading to all sorts of secret shenanigans. Remember when he tried to help Fred win a bowling tournament? But his assistants just made everything more chaotic? He called them dum-dums, but his presence brought a whole new level of sci-fi fun to the Stone Age. He was a bold addition that really paid off. Of course, the heart of the show is family. Let's look at the episode where Fred tries to teach Pebbles how to be a proper Flintstone. His attempts to get her interested in rock lifting and club swinging, while all she wants to do is play with Bam Bam, is a sweet and funny story about a father's love. It shows that beneath all the Yabba Dabba Doos and bowling nights, Fred is just a dad trying his best. These moments with Pebbles and Bam Bam add so much warmth to the series, reminding us that the Flintstones was, above all, a story about family. We also have to appreciate the special guest stars who visited Bedrock. One of the most memorable was Stoney Curtis, a prehistoric parody of actor Tony Curtis. The whole town, especially Wilma and Betty, went absolutely crazy for him. Fred's jealousy and his desperate attempts to prove he was just as cool as the movie star were priceless. These celebrity parodies were so clever and added a touch of Hollywood glamour to the Stone Age, making the world feel even bigger and more connected to our own. And what about those musical moments? The Flintstones had some incredibly catchy tunes. Think about the time Fred and Barney formed a band to play at a local club. Their rock and roll performance, complete with animal skin drums and a turtle shell guitar, was pure, unadulterated fun. The music wasn't just background noise. It was part of the story, part of the joy. These musical numbers were a huge part of the show's appeal and had everyone tapping their feet. Let's not forget the Loyal Order of Water Buffaloes. Fred and Barney's beloved club, the secret handshakes, the silly hats, and the elaborate lodge meetings were a source of endless comedy. Remember the episode where Wilma and Betty disguise themselves to sneak into a meeting and find out what really goes on? The chaos that ensues when their cover is blown is classic Flintstones. The lodge was Fred and Barney's sanctuary, their escape, and it gave us some of the funniest and most memorable scenes in the entire series. As we wrap up our tour of Bedrock for today, it's clear why the Flintstones remains a beloved classic. It's more than just a cartoon. It's a brilliant sitcom that just happens to be set in the Stone Age. It tackled timeless themes of friendship, family, work, and ambition with humor and a whole lot of heart. The clever writing, unforgettable characters, and creative world building came together to create something truly special. Thank you so much for joining me on this prehistoric journey. It's been an absolute blast revisiting these golden moments. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, please give this video a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our next adventure. We have plenty more classic cartoons to explore together. Until next time, stay classic.